to the website.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
like,
and we
I
do
think it's
have a
like,
website.
yeah,
also.
like osborneestates.org, I think.
Yeah.
I do it, but anyhow.
Yeah.
And from there, then there'll be links to the videos.
For the YouTube,
Yes.
per month.
What is it, www.Lake Osborne?
I think it's just like osborneestates.org.
.com.
Or .com, it may be a .com.
Yeah, it is .com, I remember that.
Okay.
Well, that's
You would be in there. Thank you.
Can't stop.
It starts. There is a little bit. Oh, I suppose it's much better on the screen now. We used to have a little thing here. Let's see, what time? 6:35. All right, so I guess we'll go ahead and get started. I mean, we're missing our board people.
Oh, Tara called me and
Yeah,
said
Tara.
she's sick, and I understand, because she described it, I won't go into all of it here, but she's sick. But I do wonder where our other couple, DJ and, is.
Yeah, we're missing DJ and Taylor, who said they could be here.
Okay, well, we got a small enough group, if they show up late, we'll catch them up.
Yeah. All right, 6:36, calling the meeting to order. Thank you. Thank you for newcomers. I was really hoping to get a little bit more of a crowd this evening because we have some very important updates regarding our community. So we're going to go over that, bring you all up to speed, and hopefully prompt a good brainstorming discussion. So here's our agenda. We're going to start, when Janice comes back, with, we have the treasurer's report. Yeah, it's okay. Treasurer's report, a little mention on some activities from the Palm Beach Sheriff's Office, some activity from code compliance, aka code enforcement. And then, very big topic is the update on our bridges. Bridges is meant by on Lake Osborne Drive. The road goes over Lake Bass Canal Lake, which is parallel to the pedestrian bridge in the park. We've been on this topic for some years now, 4 maybe, not 5. And because this bridge is old, they plan to not just replace it, but also alter it and delete the pedestrian bridge, which is about the single thing we have down this way that is kind of park-like, residential park and enjoyment for not just us here in the community, but many others of the public. So, Janice, are you ready for the treasurer's report, or do I come back? I can come back.
I can do it.
Okay. Treasurer's report. So on the screen,
Come forward.
on this, I mean, it's a bigger screen. Can you see it well?
Yeah.
It is a little cut off with the design of the PowerPoint, but pretty much it's a list of all the streets that are part of Lake Osborne Estates, and we have the columns that show how much dues were paid per street in 2025, and then what we have current in 2026.
Yeah.
I probably should have chosen red and green colors for we are in the red.
Well,
Jim,
we have to catch up.
use the mic if you want.
Nice.
Come up to the front, honey.
You have to come.
But I wanna, Mary,
Yeah.
I wanna mention, because of the way your presentation went, and I've seen her report, the big number, 1,600, that's like Osborne Drive, we get our most. The next biggest number is where you folks live, I'm correct. Because that's the next street that care, I don't wanna say they care the most
$880.
about what's going on, but you know. The closer you are to the lake seems to be, have some sort of correlation there.
Yeah.
Well, and lots of houses on Lake Osborne Drive Express for sure, and other little streets.
Yeah.
Yeah, and those are big, long streets too, which is another reason their number's so big.
Right.
So, the checking account at Seacoast, as of February 23rd, which was our last meeting, it started at $7,506.23. We had a Venmo and a PayPal. So by February, we were at $8,004.73. Then in March, we had 2 deposits of $1,000 total. So that brought us to $9,004.73. April, we had a deposit of $100, and we reimbursed me for doing the annual report, which is due by May 1st, and brought us to $9,043.48. And then we had a deposit, one person paying for 5 houses, $250. So the balance, and as of May 14th, is $9,293.48. Then our Capital One savings was reconciled on April 30th, and that's $5,367.63. We're doing pretty good.
May I have a question of the director?
Yeah.
It says the annual report, that's the one that goes to the state or what?
Yes, the state report.
So
is-
you're just paying with a credit card or something?
I pay with a credit card, and then they reimburse me with a
How
check.
come LOECA's annual report's 61
They're nonprofit.
and I have to pay like 400 every year?
$150. It's $150 for a corporation every year.
Okay, so we get a break.
We only pay that.
So essentially, our checking has a total of $7,506. Then we have the savings with $5,367. And I figured I would just put a little reminder. We had done a calculation at one point of what like the absolute basic amount, minimum amount would be to just keep the association running. And with cutting out many things that the association used to do and pay for, so really strict minimum at this point to run, it's about $3,500 a year. That's, you know, some communication, printing, posting, for the dues. So it's really information. It's like trying to bring in the next year's funding, and do the corporation registrations and things like that do cost money, keeping our post box or PO box open, things like that, all little costs add up to about that. We used to do newsletters, I think it was quarterly mail outs and things like that. We cut down to once a year, maybe a postcard somewhere in the year as well. We haven't even done a dues reminder notice, and that's a cost too. I think we'll consider doing that. We talked about it recently in a board call, but all that costs money. And so I want to highlight that last year we got $6,628. This year we're at $4,600 and something. And I just plant this because I think it'll be relevant for what's coming here down the road with regards to the bridge. Yes.
Janice, do you have any idea what came in after we sent the second notice last year?
No.
Joe and I did a study of that, I believe,
Yeah.
and it came out a little bit above breaking even, and my argument is, but you got more people involved in the association, even if you do just break even. But it was slight gain over that, and in previous years, of course, you could send them out like even 3. You know, I mean, people are busy.
Right. And a one-time thing could go unnoticed.
It's wonderful to see the numbers of the people that pay. Do we have an idea what the percentage of the people who don't pay? That would be the total number of people were, what, 480? Over 100 times?
The number of
Out of the
houses.
500 plus homes, it would be interesting to find out how many have zero.
Correct.
Well, how many paid would be?
How many residents have
Well, I'm
actually
sure
paid?
more people don't pay than pay, correct?
What's the total houses?
Oh, yeah, totally, more people don't pay.
I counted 520 maybe. No, but I know it's 500 plus. 510 versus 30, I don't remember that.
So, on the expenses, what would be your one biggest line item expense?
Biggest
Yeah.
line item expense,
Uh,
insurance.
Is it postage, is it communications, is it any kind of physical stuff around the lake?
I'd say the biggest items that cost us the most, like bulk,
Right.
it would be insurance and possibly postage.
And
Yeah.
if we do.
And we reduce the
multi-bill
insurance
mailings,
coverage.
Yeah.
We-
And the insurance covers what?
It covers,
It's a
You know.
liability insurance for officers, directors, and we never had it for years. And then some
one person.
person, I'm sure they're well-meaning, that lives in the estate, decided they were gonna take us to task like we were embezzling money. Boy, we're not gonna get fur. But nonetheless, you know, nobody wants to risk their own home and their own property to serve.
So when getting volunteers is already a struggle, if
Yeah.
you remove the risk, that's the minimum, and that was before me. It was a different composition of the board, but we've maintained it.
What's that?
The insurance,
Well,
when it came into place.
yeah. I mean,
But we have
and
modified
I'm
it.
advising it as a
Mhm.
board member. I mean, I'm
Right,
not serving if there's no insurance,
right.
period.
Mhm. So good questions. Any other questions, money, treasurer related?
As a new person here, I have a million questions, but I'll just ask this one. When you do send out dues notices, what is the amount and is that per year?
It's per year. We actually this year sent it out in January for 2026. It's $50 a household. We have some that give more, which we appreciate greatly, because I think that has made up for some things. So $50 per year. It's
Okay.
not astronomical, but there are many houses that are not contributing, possibly because there's rentals, Airbnbs, things like that. Maybe even a language barrier, because we do send it out in English only. Yes? You were going to say something? Just looking at you. Okay.
Well,
Ways to pay. It's at the meeting in person to our treasurer. We have Venmo for those that like the apps and don't carry the cash. And then we can have a check mailed to our PO box, which the treasurer retrieves at some point.
Yeah,
PayPal.
Oh, and PayPal and Venmo are our two, but PayPal, if you don't select a friend, it charges fees and we don't get the full amount. But at least it's something. Yes,
so this is kind of like for the good of the association, since we have new members. And that is, what we're doing here, it's not an HOA. We can't enforce anything. Some people come to these meetings and they have this big agenda, and they're expecting all of us to solve their problem for them. What we're providing is a forum and keeping an institution going in the way of this organization, so that people do, if they ever get their dandruff, have a place to pursue their agenda. But when they come with an agenda item, they need to be prepared to be the chairman of that agenda. So I'm not trying to scare you off. I'm just saying, you know, that that's the problem.
we
Or
need,
not a problem, but that's the situation. I'm
We need an
proud.
active community. So if you're coming with some ideas, some things, like we need the legwork too, because the few of us can't do it all.
But we have seen this organization, you know, sometimes,
Yeah.
a lot of people are coming,
Some
sometimes not so
meetings
many,
are,
depends
this
what,
place is packed.
yeah, what's
Yeah.
going on.
We've had meetings with 60 people in this room, and usually related to some of these matters. So one being, while I didn't have our liaison person available to attend today, he did attend our last meeting, I think it was, and he provided some updated information. He had a training or some conflict this evening. So he wanted me to share, and I put his name up there just in case y'all forgot. He says, we are continuing to provide traffic enforcement for the community regarding the issues of traffic. I have seen some patrolling, and he also says that the District 1 community policing units recently initiated traffic enforcement initiative within the community. I would say that's true because they happen to be parked, like multiple cars and trucks from the sheriff's office on Crest and Lake Osborne Drive. I was painting the house that day, and so I went over and said, what are you guys up to? And they were basically posting themselves in different spots, High Ridge, Lake Osborne, north, south, whatever. And they were there for about an hour until they got called to something else. And one of them made a point on their way out to say, we got 3, as in, I suppose we gave out some tickets today. It was around mid-morning on a weekday, and I suggested that the peak hour might be better, their time might be better off after 3:30, somewhere around that when we do see some things. But it's happened at all hours, it's just the crowd is more in the later afternoon, right? So I did advise that. So this is what our liaison is saying. They're trying, they're doing making these efforts. And this week he was following up with providing a DECO marked patrol vehicle within the community. That's what I got.
What's that mean?
I was hoping you all would know. No, I assumed that maybe it's like a decoy. Okay, he just wrote DECO.
Yeah.
I copied and
They're
pasted,
gonna
literally.
park the vehicle without anybody in it, just.
Right, just a sitting car to maybe deter. And if they're doing their random, traffic enforcement moments, well, let's see. I really wanted to know if the trailers that they had put a month and a half ago, if it had collected any data that would be interesting to share about speeding or hours or things like that. Well, that'll be the next conversation. He also provided this map. So I don't know if he has access to a different map that is represented on crime mapping, which is public, accessible to all. If you can't read, there's a bunch of little icons, and the list says that these icons are related to a domestic, to an assault, to other offenses, to a noise violation, to an accident, a patrol, just other period, and something suspicious. Most of the pins are other. We do have a noise somewhere on Ontario Drive, and a domestic, I think, was somewhere on Michigan. But what are the others? I'm not quite sure. An accident was off of High Ridge, also on those streets that is technically residents of Lake Osborne. One in the back corner where 95 is, which is what, Lake Erie or something like that, whatever goes around, or Cochrane, I think. So that was interesting. I looked up crimemapping.com, wrote that up there in case. And basically, this is since February 1st to current. And that's what pops up that they have in the system. Several drunk driving situations, several like break-in cars, stolen tag, a lot of these wonky little car signs, that's what it is. There was one that said threats, and then we have embezzlement and fraud. And I've, over a longer period of time, when I check this from time to time, I see a lot of this going on. Break-in cars, drunk driving, and then people, you know, basically being stolen stuff. Questions regarding the PBSO, the traffic, that's an ongoing concern, and we really need to get in touch with the county to do a study is what I think. Yes?
If we wanted to get them to slow down the speed limit on Lake Osborne Drive, what's the process?
Music to my ears.
I can go into why,
Okay,
but on the last screen, I saw my house.
your last screen, this one?
Yeah,
Okay.
see that island over there? You see the orange for assault?
Oh, high up there? Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's my house,
Mm.
okay? I didn't assault anybody, but my 25-year-old daughter and her boyfriend had a fight at 2 in the morning.
Mm.
But that's where I live. And they come from both ends. And since I've been living here 3 years, two years ago at Christmas, I went up to New York to see my family, and I left my daughter, same one that got beat up by her raggy-ass boyfriend, with my animals. That one got out and got ran over. About a month ago, my neighbor, 2 houses up, he has a black cat that's an outdoor cat. I watched that cat get run over.
Mm.
I told them to stop because I walk my dogs like at dawn. They didn't stop.
Mm.
And then Saturday I was going to see that reggae band down in Boynton. They had a free concert. And by the time I got down there, my dog had gotten out and got run over.
No.
Yes, my beautiful dog.
I'm sorry.
He was just the best personality, and he was always happy. But this lady runs him over, and my daughter comes running up to her, and she says, I have to go, my children are traumatized.
Oh. Well, so are we.
Why do they have to use that road as a shortcut?
You know, and to boot wasn't a resident of
No.
this area. Yeah.
It's
and,
never a resident,
you know,
no offense. to
a
anybody
former
that is.
board member, actually, maybe 3 weeks ago, sent a message, very well written, heart poured out because similarly, dog got out. The car was coming and stopped seeing the dog run out, but the truck behind was so speeding
fast.
already and didn't want to stop, passed in probably an area where no passing is supposed to be allowed, hit the dog so hard it died, and she heard it while she was trying to get out there. So wrote a message to me, and I shared it with our liaison. And to just say, this is just one of, so you are another, and I hear others where we experienced that. I experienced that with Joe, with one of my cats being also hit, run, and so we know that it's, and when it's a child one day,
Exactly.
then what? Why aren't the animals just as important? Me, animal advocate, but it happens a lot. And so I sent this message. He sent his heartfelt condolences, and I don't know if it triggered also some of the actions that he's sent out immediately after that. But it is definitely a known problem. How do we reduce the speed limit? That is something that had been brought up even when our Commissioner Weiss was here. What was suggested by the county was to redo a study for speed. We had suggested that it be done because since it hasn't been done since COVID, and clearly life has changed, the population has very much changed, and how Lake Osborne Drive and High Ridge is utilized by the county people is much greater, especially since 6th Avenue construction. So we would need someone to take that lead as form a committee, maybe 2, 3 people on it. To be on top of it is really, I think, the route to go. Make the request, county follow through, do it in the right time. I mean, we're coming up to the summer. People are leaving.
That means nobody's gonna be here?
Well, it means the population does not necessarily represent accurately as what it would be in January when all our snowbirds are down, right? And passing through or whatnot. So ideally, maybe that could be something we could already start working towards establishing for November, December, when the right time comes. But get that ball rolling and then be on top of it.
So how do you do that?
I can put you in contact with some county people to then email. We can be like CC'd and assessed with that follow up or the representation too. But it's helpful if we have like a committee formed.
I'll be on your committee.
Huh?
I volunteer to be on your committee.
That's fine, because you probably know what you're doing, and I don't.
I don't, but I mean,
But
just
the
takes
thing,
two out of it.
the thing I've seen I'm in sales, so I travel a lot around. And down in Broward County, these side roads, they block them off. So you can't get through to save 2 minutes going home. And I don't see why we don't try doing something like that, except that there's probably reasons, and I would find out on a committee.
I'd love to know the reason why, if there really truly is a logical reason why Lake Osborne Drive and Lantana entrance couldn't be closed off. Keep it totally park and residential, stop the cut through, or don't redo the bridge that we're about to talk about and leave it alone and empty so that the boats can go through and no cars can go through. There are options that would cost much less money to the county.
Well, one real downside I'm seeing to this over here is I have the empty lot. The house to the south of that, Dave Mirth used to live in. It got so bad here with 6 accidents in his house over there that he just said, I had enough, I'm going. And now June is doing the same thing. She's leaving, the sister's gonna pick up the house, but you're driving away upstanding people. Dave was a lieutenant in the fire department here. His wife was a school teacher. June is retired Coast Guard over there. These are upstanding citizens, and we're losing good residents due to this.
To many, many years of frustration, yeah. We've had several cars crash into front properties on Lake Osborne Drive. Law enforcement, we witnessed one where he was clearly under the influence of many things, and he got a taxi ride home, not even arrested. So there's a lot of frustration. I guess we just have to keep that initiation, keep that contact, keep the, I don't want to say pressure, but so that it doesn't fade. And that's where we struggle, because we're a volunteer group of people that have their jobs and their other lives and things as well. So it gets rough in that sense. But this is something that is a big ordeal in our community. Okay, touch on code compliance. We've had them at our meetings, very kind people. We also had a number of various issues that are like of a pattern that keep coming up. Certain residences that are either operating a business out of their residence, or they're bringing home all of their vehicles, large trucks, or paraphernalia from the job, and sitting things out in the easements, and it really just deteriorates the general beauty of the community, especially when we have multiple houses doing that. We have semi-trucks that are parked in people's driveways, literally semi-trucks. There are lots of complaints that have come in to the association about people who have RVs and boats, which is not the issue, but they're leaving it parked out front of their house for days and days at a time, and or just are never moving them. And there are rules, they're per the county, that if at the very least we abide by. it kind of keeps the uniformity and beauty aspect of the community. So we brought that up to code compliance, and they've patrolled the area. There have been some citations, is what we're told, and the latest and the biggest and most visible, unfortunately or fortunately, is the first house that's on Lake Osborne Drive and Lantana Road. What you actually see here is an old picture from when the previous owners were living there.
You mean the mango one?
That's that, it's,
The one with the mango sign?
I haven't noticed the
Lantana.
mango
The one
sign.
with the big old cement block fence.
Yes, so now
No.
there's like a big wannabe concrete wall that's been created over time. There's also cement on the drainage system that somehow was placed there. And there are other things that they've been really working on improvement of the house, but no permitting. So they've gotten some, what do you call them, violations. I had been told that they had up until April something to remedy it, and they've gone down the route of requesting permits. And so really until all of that is reached its course, the case remains open, but that's why you still see the wall there as it is. So maybe they will redo it, maybe, I don't know. It's interesting because this is how it used to look. There was a car accident, for those of you that may not have been around or aware. There was a car that really just ran into this vegetation there, took down some of the vegetation, but I make the point to say there was never a wall there. So there was never a permit for a wall. And if there ever was, this isn't even necessarily their property. So that's kind of the issue that's there. I guess they're gonna try and get a permit to have whatever wall there. So can you get a permit for building something on an easement? Also tied into the next topic.
Well,
Questions?
before you move on,
Yeah,
I did call Dan Getson, the gentleman that was here,
last meeting, who was
Last
complaining
meeting.
about it. Mhm.
but I had to leave him a voice message, and I just said, we're having the meeting tonight, love to hear about any updates, if you're able to attend. Did he contact you?
He did send me an email and CC me actually on some complaints, and I don't think he was getting a response because I'm not sure he was contacting the right person or sending to the right email. So I piggybacked on his email, attached a supervisor contact that I knew, and from there, something got rolling. So it was definitely a great initiation on his part. I got to tell him the updates I got because of his
Good. So you
initiation.
two have been in touch, is my
Just by email, not necessarily. But that's the status of that particular complaint. We also know there's been many, many historical complaints of the very first house on High Ridge and Lantana Road.
Yeah.
It frequently is putting dump trucks for sale or saying we buy ugly houses or random items that is not allowed. So I guess always the point or the reminder is, if you see something, don't just come here and say something, take a picture, video, and we're happy to try and provide that information or evidence to the authorities that be. Anything else on code compliance? Yes.
This doesn't fall under code compliance, but the parking on the sidewalks is getting to be very irritating because it drives you into the street, and street traffic irritation is.
Definitely
there,
mentioned
over
that
there.
as well. Yep. I said there are some residents that have 8 cars and they're parked all over the sidewalks, and while the rest of us that are supposed to be using sidewalks to not be on the street end up on the street. So that's been mentioned, and I think there's a few properties that are frequent flyers on that. But if there is any additional known behavior, we're not necessarily an authority, but we're happy to represent the community and report when it's a pattern, right? We can't pinpoint individuals, but we know it's a pattern. Someone recently used my name to make a complaint. I thought that was interesting. But I validated the concern because it had to do with someone who was also leaving a lot of debris, paraphernalia. It's a home where it's not one person that has brought that to my attention, at least. But yeah. You called about this complaint. No, I did not. There was I think a complaint that you handled on Ontario and.
Oh,
Yeah.
the AC guy, yeah.
Right.
Ontario and Lake Osborne,
Yeah,
right?
right.
You did, that was great.
Yeah. Excellent.
Yeah, but he's back again. He's
Well-
got a big
Well, I
trailer.
can see one individual car, and that's what he's been throttled back to over there, so we'll bite him in the butt if he starts to get a lot worse. But now it's the
Huge trailer.
trailer in the front, so Code should be able to hit him on that without having to go back. You know,
That's why I just asked Code. I said, listen, in general, there's things we're seeing. Please come patrol around, and you will see. Okay. Next. I'm starting to get hot. Is the AC on? You should open the door.
It's infrastructure, I'm gonna ask about, but it's a very small question, and this is a big one we're gonna talk about.
Yeah. About
What the
this?
heck's going on at Ontario and Crest along there where they got everything all dug up? I mean, is that
Oh,
the
the
new
construction
water? Or what's
Looking
going-
thing? Yeah.
Big pipes and.
Right. I was wondering, did anybody find out what that was? No.
It's a block from us, but I don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Are they completing the water? Because I know they're.
That's what I was
It
wondering.
looked like drain, it's not water pipes because they're huge drainage pipes.
Yeah.
But those drains all along Crest up there, they're clogged, so I think that there's maybe starting to finally.
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah.
Jim was after him on those issues for years. There's one up near him and on Michigan and,
Michigan and Crest too, that thing's.
yeah. And if they'd ever come along and open up those drains, it certainly would help.
What
the
streets is it?
community.
I'm just making a note to follow up.
Ontario.
Ontario and Crest, yes.
Is where all the work is, and if that's, I was hoping somebody would say that it was big, you saw a big drain
It's
pipe.
big drainage pipes. It's
Okay,
not-
we don't have sewers, so that's gotta be it.
Yeah, it could be the drainage.
And that would be
It's
wonderful.
always overflowing.
Well, yeah, I mean, the community was, laid out right.
Oh,
There's just no maintenance.
thank you, I might survive now.
So anyway, if they're doing it now, they'll probably work their way all around, because there's a lot of those.
Bridges, the bridges. So here we have a bird's eye view of the road bridge. What are we calling it? Over Lake Bass, the bridge over Lake Bass, or Lake Bass Bridge. And then right next to it, parallel, is the pedestrian bridge. So after months and months and months of kind of asking gently about updates on, could we see the current design plans? Like, as you are revisiting and taking into account what the residents has asked for, I think it was back in 2023. Can we see where you're at this point? And we were advised by the deputy engineer, hopefully I got the title right, that there would be a meeting set up with the county. This was supposed to be sort of end of year last year. We didn't see that happen, so I followed up hoping to get an update for today, and that was a big drop. Here's the schedule that I was given. The easement letters were sent out, or I guess would be sent out, unless this was a typo, but would be sent out November of 2026, easement letters. Then final plans for the road bridge would be June of 2027, next year, and a year from now. There would be an advertisement for the job in July of 2027, so open bid in August, then it would be awarded for the job in December, meaning construction of the road bridge could start around March 2028. pending all easements in hand are acquired by then. That's what I was advised.
Are required by what?
Are acquired. That all the easements in hand are acquired. There's a lot of construction easement that are going over our properties that are directly connected to this project. And if it goes on this way, it's not gonna be something that we plan to make very easy, accessible, so.
Whereabouts is
This is,
Corner of Lake
Crest
Osborne
and Lake
Crest.
Osborne Drive,
If you took your house,
this? Like,
south, the
if
closest
you
to
go
Lake
south
Cannon.
on Crest Drive from your house,
yeah.
it will wind out and go onto the lake. Take a left, and you'll already be at the bridge. There's only that one house there between Crest Drive and the bridge on that side, which is a big problem because this was all gone over a year ago. But you raise that level and everything, now people coming out of Crest Drive and the other road on the other side won't be able to, you know, there's gonna be problems, hazards with seeing oncoming traffic, and it's just gonna be a mess, and they know it. And our commissioner, Greg Weiss, was on the phone, I was on with him, man. Do we have that tape?
For what it's worth, we do, Larry.
Huh?
It's not worth anything, but we have it.
Well, guess what? It is worth something. He's dying to be mayor of West Palm Beach, so I'd like to find out who's the political guy on the beat with the Palm Beach Post and some of these local stations and just declare war. But first, we gotta go to Weiss and say, are you gonna make good on this, or what's up, Weiss? Now, I know that's a big mouthful, and Mary,
Well,
your
trying-
thoughts?
Are they raising the street bridge?
4 feet.
Huh?
4
Are
feet.
they raising it?
They're raising the whole bridge.
4 feet, okay. I think you can-
So do you see, are you
So you're
seeing? I
gonna,
don't know why
So
it's
it's gonna
acting
be
all
like
blurry
that.
here, but
Yep.
who knows?
this is Lake Osborne Drive,
Yeah.
We did too.
and
They're keeping it?
They're keeping it.
maybe the
They
internet is
actually have
the
a whole
issue here.
different
There's no
project.
internet
As
here.
that wooden bridge.
Pedestrian bridge is
After
over
they told
that
us it's
easement.
gonna be.
See, I didn't realize it was a street. I thought it was just a wood bridge. that
In the
was-
park is the
Well, the one
pedestrian
that's
bridge,
right
within
next
the
to
park
Lake
along
Osborne
Lake
Drive.
Osborne.
That is a whole
Yeah.
separate proposal for that.
I didn't realize that. So they're gonna widen the street and put in the sidewalk?
Yeah.
Okay, so
I gotta take this.
I just wanna, let's try and connect to the internet so that this may work, maybe. Ah, much better. All right, so here's the speed bump that people love to accelerate after. And here is approaching the bridge. See where that is now?
Yeah.
Okay, so all of this metal railing is before and after the bridge for security. I would argue, why does it have to be metal and why couldn't it be nice concrete at least? But the issue is that if they're raising the bridge by about 4-ish feet, that the elevation, as you can see right now, you see the road when you're approaching. And elevation means you will not see the road like that. Then you have these properties where there are driveways and people come out of their driveway right at the bridge. So with an elevation, you're blind, we're blind, and we have already had a number of, almost accidents happening, even a school bus. So we brought that to the attention of the county engineers, saying you have to renew the bridge, but don't modify the bridge. Keep the elevation as it is. There was mention of, well, but the water elevation, we have to because some new code and rules. Really, our residences aren't going to be elevated. The road next to it isn't going to be elevated. If it has to do with the bridge drowning, I mean, I don't know. This entire lake is drained if there is a storm. So it actually gets to almost the bottom of the lake. It's a great time for cleanup. But the other issue is that on this side of the bridge, there will now be, it's all a block of concrete and metal, first off. Nothing park-like, residential-like, and you know, there's really, we brought that to their attention. Please make this something, this is not a highway. And apparently that's not looking like it's there. They're adding sidewalks on both sides of this bridge. The bridge is widened. So if you're widening the road to a smaller road, do you see the writing on the wall of expansion of the road, of sidewalks going all on Lake Osborne Drive properties, connecting with the communities, and where
And
does the
That's set
public
in
go?
stone with the county.
This is a county project, road and bridge.
I remember a year ago when you were talking about it, and everybody kind of agreed with me, why do you need 2 sidewalks?
For sure, many. We had a petition going for all the residences on Lake Osborne Drive. There's not a single person that said, yeah, I'd love that. Nobody. And that's part of the time when the community did show up a whole lot for these meetings. Today is, we just got this news. So we need you all to help us tell your neighbors that this has not changed. The county, while we had a meeting and Commissioner Weiss said, no sidewalks and you're in this design, let's go back and redo this and hear our constituents, but it's not happened.
And this is the same guy that wants to be mayor of Palm Beach? Is that
He was mayor of Palm, oh yes, okay, so what you're saying, he was mayor at the time of this meeting. And we hear that he's running to be mayor in West Palm Beach now. Now he's currently our commissioner or representative, he's not the mayor right now, but he's on these emails. I have not directly asked him if he has any thoughts. I had previously asked him, and I guess his office, if we're not getting these plans, could you check on your staff and at least see what is what we agreed happening, since we're not looped in. And I guess it was just feedback on the status percentage of the design plans. So since we got this design, I have not heard, nor have I tried to reach out yet to Commissioner Weiss and see. That is probably part of the follow-up that needs to happen. Ask him to maybe come to the next meeting and bring his county engineers to explain their reasoning. Is there any additional things they plan to incorporate here? How do we get this resolved? Because this is going to completely change the aspect of our community, and it's a danger with the way that the road is going to be modified too. For those of all this cut through that we were just talking about with the traffic. So
We don't need to make it easier for those people who want to come down that road.
That's it.
right. So joking but not joking, how about we delete this bridge entirely? There'll be no more cut through and we won't have to spend the money.
There you go.
I have no opinion on that little piece of the lake over there. I don't know. Why does it have to be joined?
It doesn't.
It doesn't.
It doesn't.
Okay, so the homeowners wanted it so they could put their boats from there into the big lake?
I don't know. I'm a homeowner. I could put my boat right there. But no, that has not been an ask. And if there is one person who's making the ask and so many of us
The canal's
affected,
only 3 feet deep. Yeah, the canal's only 3 feet deep. You can't even get a real boat through there. You
Right.
can't get a small boat.
it's very shallow. Right. So there would need to be some serious dredging anyways. Roger, go ahead.
Can I appeal to you to write back to Commissioner Weiss
Mm-hmm.
and remind him of the conversation and the meeting we had with the engineer present in a Zoom meeting with us all at that point, and see if, and it appears at this point that from the last update that you received, that none of the things that we had talked about were being considered in this plan, and if they are, that we have a meeting with them to go over the additions to this that are not obviously here in this plan.
Yes, I think that's definitely a first polite step to take.
Polite step. There's other steps to take after that, obviously, but at least that's the polite way to start it. And if he doesn't respond, then you take the next step.
And at the same time, I think it would be very important to set a specific meeting with a little more time ahead, so all the residents on Lake Osborne, if anybody feels like taking a walk on their weekend and knocking on the doors and say, have you heard about the design plans haven't changed with the widening of the road, the sidewalk, the elevation and everything, and we're gonna have a special meeting to discuss our next steps about it, because ultimately this is gonna require the community's numbers and force. It would require probably us going to the county meetings in West Palm Beach, a number of us, maybe color coordinated like they've done in Lake Worth Beach, to show how we're serious about this and how we're impacted about this, and we want to be heard and have what was already sort of promised to us to be incorporated in these plans, regardless of it being at 96%. We've been saying it since it was at 60% or whatever.
You have an email list of how many people in the community?
That's something I would like to look at. I had acquired the emails of many of the residents on Lake Osborne Drive, but some have since sold, changed. I don't have a current update, and it's when the dues notice goes out that we encourage people to share their email so we can add them and recreate this new yearly group. But people don't always do that.
I was just wondering, if the commissioner didn't reply, let's just say to your request at all, that to apply more pressure, everybody gets copied on the email that was sent out on a second request, perhaps.
Yeah.
All these guys, they're once they see there's constituents are
Rallying up.
are growing against them, they tend to take more of a notice rather than just a couple of people.
Yeah, and I'm kind of glad that we didn't send out the dues notice reminder yet, because maybe this is how we should send it out, is to say,
Time to do that.
yeah,
Put a whole letter or whatever together, some kind
Right.
of notice.
And say-
But let's try to get a commitment. When do you think would be a good time to ask Wise to come here? When's his term in November?
Right.
Yes.
So we would try to get into a meeting certainly before then, but
next month.
Yeah,
I mean,
At
I'm
least.
okay.
yeah.
Time for us to get something out, notice to the community, and we can't snooze on this. This is not gonna be a year with our usual quarterly meetings. We're gonna need to do a little extra. Yes.
So
Go ahead, Jim.
two things. Once upon a time, there was an artist rendition, so you might be able to tag that onto the emails that are sent out, because the shock and awe of that, what I remember was they were going with a 15% grade from the height of 4 feet in an addition, which would probably be, 500-600 feet both north and south. So that would encompass, 20 people on that side to be able to get that, as well as the east-west on that. Part two is what I remembered about the first time that this was brought up. We had that meeting over in Lakeside Methodist Church, and there just happened to be a Russian traffic control guy. And I don't know what the number was on this bridge, but it was multi-million dollars to do this. And he wasn't even aware that this project was on the table, which was crazy as far as I was concerned, that this guy is writing checks and he didn't even know a multi-million-dollar project was on the table. You know, that's what I remember vividly.
Yes, this wasn't really blasted out there as far as like the project and the idea. It was, we stumbled on it. And then we asked to be part of the discussion because it was very early on in the design. COVID actually slowed a whole lot of things down. Also changed the price tag to what was the plans. Let me pull that up. I don't know, you may not have all gotten a chance to see, and it's, we don't pretend to know exactly what this all means, even in their 96% plans. I blasted an email already to the emails I do have to say, alarm, alarm, you know, this hasn't changed. And I did get a couple residents reply back saying, can't be at the meeting tonight, but I know an engineer, I was an engineer, I'd be happy to take a look at this, no promises, but the interpretation is also important. So we're informed about what all this stuff means. It's hard to read.
Interpreting that?
Yeah,
Can,
right.
can I get back on our other point about, the commissioner, Wise, inviting him here? Shouldn't we give him some options, like, and to begin with, we need time to publicize this. So if you're talking about a month from now, that means we've got to get a newsletter together, get it out, a second newsletter. I'm suggesting July or August would be the sweet spot with him, because he's leaving office in November. And we need to address this rather quickly, but we got to give his schedule some options. And we got to give ourselves some time to get up for the game, because this is going to be big.
Yeah.
Now, let's settle that first. What should we ask?
Yesterday. No,
Huh?
I'm just kidding. I really want this yesterday. I mean, I feel like it should have happened 3 years ago, but
Well, if it's a month from now, I don't know how you're going to do it, and I'm going to
But
be
you're
in
right.
Canada myself, so.
technically,
Good
how
luck.
do we really pull this together by sending out notices and getting time? I mean, we can always just inquire. We'd like for you to come to a community meeting. When are you available? And we will set accordingly a date.
Well, no, go ahead. Roger, what's your thoughts?
I would suggest that whatever email you sent to him,
Mhm.
that we print that email, and then on the reverse side of the sheet, print, if there is a rendition of this plan at this point, put that on the other side and explain what's going on.
Mm.
And then put that with the news notice, and say that this is gonna be, hopefully we can get a date for him to come,
Mhm.
and that the commissioner will be here on such and such a date. This is the letter that we sent out, this is the plan, and something together from that, and then ask for, of course.
Would you be willing to take a look at a draft that she does before she sends it?
Yeah.
Because
Very good.
so that we can get let's get a little brain trust going on this, because he's the play.
Yeah,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Yeah, Roger just handed this, but I just thought through this over the couple of items that are jumping out to me is that's like a 10-inch water line that's in between the walking bridge and that's going to be an issue. And from what I understand, there's a sewer line that runs.
Oh, that's Lake Worth Beach?
Yeah,
And
runs
Lake Worth
from-
Beach is long already on paying to
Almost
reroute
$1
those.
To reroute.
Okay, so yeah, there's $1 million over there, because I think that ties into that lift station that they're doing down there on Lakeside Methodist Church, that's been going on for, months now, because that goes down, I believe, east and
One
west side of
sewer,
that
one
Tanner
water.
Road, takes a left along Lake Osborne Drive and goes down that way there, but we can't tie into that.
No, that's,
Those are not ours.
Yeah,
That's
right,
all
yeah,
Lake
that's
Worth
crazy.
Beach or
And
those
then the other
utilities,
thing that
but they
jumps
pass
out on
through.
me over here, is it looks like they're gonna be easing into people's septic tanks that are on this.
Drain field, septic tank. Yes, driveways,
So
newly
what if they're
repainted.
going into your septic tank? Or your septic tank is?
Well, yeah, it looks like that when they widen this, though, they're gonna be encroaching on all those.
But they're not gonna give you sewer, they're just gonna come into your septic?
They're gonna reroute, open up the sewer lines and not connect any of us to the sewer lines. And spend $1 million doing it.
Does that make sense to anybody?
No, that's why it's the government doing it. None of that makes any sense.
I don't get
The
it.
sidewalks running parallel to each other makes zero. It doesn't make any
Yeah, that
sense.
makes no sense. I'd rather they had decent drainage. Because by that little island, it's always flooded.
Somebody needs a community planner down in their department.
I mean, clearly, and I mean, just to go into then the pedestrian wood bridge. It has been closed off for 10 months. Not because of anything else, but apparently, I think the park people did some repairs 10 months ago when they identified that the wood feet in the water were rotting. It's been there a long time. They did some repairs, and ever since, we have all been waiting for a county engineer to basically approve the repair and clear it. It's safe. Out of an abundance of caution is the language that was previously used. Why is it taking so long? So the parks was made to block it off, had these barriers, the chain, the plastic, the whatever, and people just keep moving it. Or they actually are forced to walk on this road bridge where there are people passing each other and an accident waiting to happen. So I've written about that, I've highlighted, I think I even showed pictures of things that we see happen because we live there. And the status is still the same. So very surprisingly, when I was asking an update about the bridges, what was supposed to be just deleted before, along with the road bridge, the pedestrian was just completely deleted. Now they have actually launched, I'm trying to get back to this darn PowerPoint, they've actually launched a design for a new bridge, a new pedestrian bridge. Don't know what it looks like, but that's in the works.
With a separate pedestrian bridge?
Yep.
Mhm.
So you're gonna have the pedestrian bridge, you're gonna have an 8-foot concrete path with the new bridge, and then you're gonna have on the other side a 6-foot sidewalk on the other side of Lake Osborne Drive. So
You're gonna have
pick your
3
path.
paths.
3 paths. Yeah. Yep. And that's all your taxpayers' money.
What about the bicycle
All the taxpayers'
lane?
money going to waste. They took that out.
They took the
They took the
bicycle
bicycle
lane
lane
out
out,
and
which
another path.
is good, but
Oh, God.
So here's the timeline that I was sent. We have a notice to proceed issued to design consultant going in June of 2026. They receive a recommendation report expected July 2026. They'll have a 65% plan submittal in August of 26 this year, then a 96% plan submittal in September, 100% plan submitted in October 2026. So the final plan and advertisement will be by November 2026. A contract to be awarded in July of 2027 and construction to be started summer 2027. Whoops. Estimated, oh no, I cut off on a duration of something. So it's not really in alignment with the road bridge that's going to be blocked off anyway. Some not making sense there. So just going to the point of people talking with each other. I'm not quite sure. But I want to think nicely that this was the one effort to accommodate some of the asks that we had was to keep the only thing that has been park-like and residential-like, and so they brought back some kind of pedestrian bridge. We don't know what it looks like yet. Yes.
Well, you're very kind-hearted about their intentions.
I'm
I
very
think
nice
they're
now.
playing hardball with us by keeping that pedestrian bridge. They just held that up because they could, because they're pissed that we're screwing with them.
I
Now,
mean,
that's the negative guy in me, but, you know.
Larry, they've sent engineers, they've sent more county employees to come and look at that little piece of wooden bridge. They're putting money into it.
monitor.
It's absolutely bizarre.
Right, so why isn't it approved? Because, well, never mind. It doesn't matter. Let's,
I think what
Move
happened
on.
was that they did the repairs and then an engineer looked at it and didn't like the repairs and now they're stuck. But
it's just.
Well, I mean, I'm sure that they're,
Don't know.
okay.
So that's what we have.
What are we gonna do about it?
And
It's
they're
all
dragging
thing
their
that
feet
counts.
because they know that there's gonna be construction on that bit.
The what?
Probably dragging their feet because they know there's gonna be
There's gonna be,
construction.
it's gotta be deleted. I mean, you can't have that construction, I don't know. I'll look forward to that bridge being blocked off or a road being blocked off, and we'll get to experience what life would be like without having to spend the millions of dollars to redo
Yeah.
this bridge, but, and the traffic. But, I don't know why that hasn't been a consideration, and it's not for fault of not mentioning it. Why not? If you think you can elevate a bridge and completely change Lake Osborne Drive, why can't you think about deleting it entirely?
Well, let's make that part of our
I'll tell you
proposal.
why they're gonna say no to that.
Why would you think no?
Safety. They're gonna say, well, the firehouse is on Lantana
Right.
Road. They have, in order, if something happens.
Right, they
uh,
need.
There's High Ridge.
At your house,
No,
and
they
the
need
road is
fence.
closed at the bridge,
Right,
then they can't get through there without going all the way around.
correct.
That's gonna be the argument,
Yeah.
so, yeah, it's gonna be a fighting one where you can't get, you're not gonna get over that one.
I mean, there is High Ridge.
Yeah,
You
it's
can't
just
touch
that-
it. That's why they had to have 2 accesses going into Costco. They need 2 accesses in case there is like a pile up on High Ridge and there was a accident on someplace to the north. No, that's not gonna fly.
Yeah, it'll be a safety issue.
Whether we like
That's
it
what
or
they-
not, they consider Lake Osborne Drive a north-south artery, period.
And there's Lake Bass. I mean,
No, Lake Osborne Drive, they consider an artery.
Yeah.
You know, the county traffic people, they told us this. So, I mean, that's a hard fight. You know, tearing the bridge out, putting a cul-de-sac in it, like, I mean, we've talked about all of those things.
Well, we got a better chance of doing a cul-de-sac, or, the roundabouts, you got a better chance of getting roundabouts than you do shutting
Roundabouts.
off the road.
Yeah,
Because the road, the safety issue that's involved in shutting the road, closing that off is too high.
Yeah.
Where, and then, when to do a roundabout, you gotta have easements to get up into people's yards, and that's gonna be a toughie too. It's just, the way that the whole thing is, we're in an old community. The design wasn't built for today's traffic. It was built for people to just, are residents and hang in and don't, not a lot of traffic going through there. We created a lot of traffic when the 6th Avenue Bridge was being done.
yeah.
And it created a lot of instances where people driving through, and
and we're better off with traffic calming
you know,
with the sheriff's department and getting them to do it. And, you know, which was the earlier part of the meeting.
well,
The roundabouts are great, I would push for them.
the action, your call to action here. Like I said, I, if you would appeal to the commissioner to, go back to the conversation that was, it's been a year and a half now, 2 years almost.
The
When we had
Zoom
the
conversation
meeting,
we
yeah.
had, oh, that was at least 2.5 years
Yeah.
ago.
And asked for an update on what has happened, or we know what the update there is. There isn't an update. And that if he would kindly get involved
Hmm.
and see what has happened up till now, before we go nuts. I mean, if he doesn't if he doesn't want a reply,
My
then we
vote,
have to
my
take the
personal
next-
opinion is there's no waiting anymore.
yeah, I don't.
There is
think
just
there's
no
any
waiting. There is simply action, words that follow with action immediately, what's gonna be done now, or we have to see about the next step, which
Yeah.
ties into the finances.
Just one more point over here while we're talking construction. Something that jumps out at me over here is there's a bore sample on this sheet that Roger just handed me over there. I'm gonna go back in the Wayback Machine to a house that was redone on Lake Osborne Drive. It's like 2 houses north of Ontario. The guy tore down the house. Grant is his name. Got a couple of young kids. When he went to go do his redo on that house, they made him dig down almost 25 feet because he didn't meet the compression test for nowadays. So if they're gonna be putting a bridge down there, which was, you know, probably 1,000 feet over there, they're gonna come into that same swamp muck. Is essentially under all our houses along the lake over there, so that's not in these plans over there. It's gonna be a big to-do if they're gonna have to do that.
The one next to Arnold? What's his name?
Yeah, the older guy.
Yeah, the old guy.
I believe those have been done already in a company called Tierra. I think I saw it in there.
Right.
Have done the core samples. So I assume they're not gonna start a project like this or even put it out to bid until they know that it was gonna be.
Well, yeah, I remember that the guy, you know, he was all ready to pour a slab. It was all set over there, and then he's got his results back. He had to take all his dirt out, go down about 20 feet in, and fill it all in with, you know,
Right.
road grade aggregate in order to put his slab in, and then roll a big mixer on the top of it in order to compress it.
Somewhere I saw in there, Jim, Tierra, I know they do the borings and that stuff.
Yeah, Tierra South.
So my last mention though is going to be, and this, because I'm hoping that you all talk with your neighbors, is that you saw what we have in the bank. And that is after a lot of sweat and tightening the belts for the last few years, anticipating, I sat, you know, you say I'm nice and I'm positive, but I anticipated this right now. I have had in my head that if we don't actually get the strong muscle arm force, such as an attorney, you know, this is going to be very difficult. Or the entire community willing to show up to the meetings that it will take and represent to accomplish this. Last time, 2-3 years ago, we had a consultant. It moved the needle in some direction, but we finished paying that off last year. So we're in bad shape.
We moved the
Financially.
needle by the consultant, and by that I mean is this. The mayor at the time, Greg Weiss, who was our commissioner for this district, made a commitment back then. So now he's gonna have to answer to that commitment.
Mm-hmm.
Either he does what he said he would do, and he instructed the engineer on that meeting, he instructed, if I'm correct, he instructed the engineer to go back to the drawing board and see if they could come up with a plan that was acceptable, that we could see and be part of at that point.
Yeah.
That hasn't been done. So either he stands behind his word, or he doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
And if he doesn't stand behind his word, then we have the ability at that point, because you have the tape, you have a recording of it, correct? Correct tape of it, then we can take that to the news station and say, look, this is what Commissioner, then Mayor Weiss, promised in his own words what he would do, and then if he doesn't do it, well, what good is he? I mean, what is good is he to anybody if a person doesn't stand behind their word?
Mm-hmm.
So what we've done already is impactful, anyhow,
Yeah.
regardless, because if that step hadn't been done,
we
we wouldn't be where we are today with at least something to go back to him with and
Mhm.
say, this is what you said.
Yeah.
Now,
Next.
stand behind your word.
Right.
So there you go. That's why we need to send out the dues notice, get more money in, because we're gonna need to hire consultants. or-
We may.
We'll try with Weiss first, see if
I
we
would,
can work
give it a
it.
shot with him and say, you know, what is it what's your plan on helping, not to say helping, standing behind your word. You said it. I mean, if we didn't have proof of it, okay, if we didn't have proof, it'd be a different story. We could sidestep the issue. But when we have proof of it, it's hard to sidestep it.
Joe, make sure that date's still around.
Got the tape.
Okay, and there it
Oh,
is.
it's good.
There was a public
I mean,
meeting tonight, so I mean-
news channel would love to have something like that.
Oh, yeah, this
And
is
say,
gonna be-
look, you really have, okay, let's hear it. You know what?
I mean, we had a follow-up email
And what
all
we,
those things.
well, we gotta do our footwork, but I mean, what'll probably happen is he ain't gonna want that kind of publicity.
Especially now.
He wants to be mayor so bad he was wetting his pants.
So a lot of work to be accomplished here in a short time frame. In the next month. I'm very much contemplating if maybe we send out first the notice to all about this stuff and dues reminder.
No, we first we find out where Weiss is.
We write at the same
That's
time
the number one
an
issue.
email to Commissioner Weiss.
And
And then
pin
I
him
guess
down.
we might need to meet at that point, even just the community, because there's nothing worse than having the commissioner come and it just be a vomit session of things. We need to be constructive about it. What are we asking? You know, maybe even set them up for success, I don't know, by saying, here are our concerns we wish to see you address when you come to our meeting.
It's a reminder.
Right.
What was it you said? This is what you said. Now it's time.
Right.
It's time to talk
So,
about it.
so yeah, this has been a lot over here, but thinking of this timeline over here, this is gonna come into the same time frame of the 95 expansion at Costco.
Yeah,
And they're gonna close Lake Osborne over there, so that's just gonna create a phenomenon.
Oh, yeah, if that was to end up happening at the same time.
Same
But I
time.
haven't heard any updates on that, have you?
There was something that Ken Berg had for an artist rendition type of thing over there, and I want to, it was about a 2028 timeline on that over there. But
Yeah.
don't quote me on that, I'm not 100% sure on that, and they're looking at 2028 on this, so.
For the I-95, the Diamond?
yeah, the diamond, or the
Yeah, I've been
Crazy
asking about
Eight.
that
Lakes,
because of the whole Costco situation.
Right.
In case you didn't know, Costco's been buying up the properties on High Ridge.
Yeah.
So, what are they gonna do with that? Costco has not been very communicative despite our ask and me going personally over there. Can I speak to the top head? And, they're just saying they're gonna make parking, but, there's also been more like they're moving their gas station ideas. Maybe somebody brought up the electrical connections, but something car related, and that's what would be at the entrance of our community. Also, in all that process, our signs are affected by all this construction. So when residents of Lake Osborne had the 6th Avenue construction, they got a lump sum of money for how their sign was affected. That would help us.
And if we were able to take that money, I will tell you what's gonna go there. I mean, I'd be willing to bet $100 right now. Let's start a pool.
I'd like to see
They're
a
gonna
real.
put a wall
Yeah.
back as far as the easement is from High Ridge Road. It'll be a nice wall. And behind that wall is gonna be either more parking or whatever they have. But there will be an easement that we could build a really nice, more up-to-date sign.
That's
that was-
if they put a
we
wall,
wouldn't have to
Larry.
Put outside,
Why would they put a wall?
They have to.
They have to.
like they got a wall in those people's backyard now. What do you mean, how would
I
they do it?
don't know. If they own the whole block.
Yeah, the whole block. You come from Lantana to wherever that entrance is now by the Northern Private School. There will be a wall back to easement. They'll keep it nice and grassy and pay to have them on our side. And we'll have an electrified sign there that we can tell people when the meeting is.
Well, I don't know.
This is
because
how you negotiate. I'll be dead by then.
It's also super upsetting that they'd be able to do that, in the sense that all of this is zoned residential. It's not zoned for Costco parking at all.
Well, I
So
mean,
you
I'm
just
not-
change that up because of the money.
It's in the county, Costco.
And it's in the county,
city of
Costco is Lantana.
So you're talking about annexing properties and doing all kinds of
They
things
pro-
that they have to do.
Yeah, I mean, the town of Lantana is gonna take those properties in. Simple.
Loss of
Who's gonna
taxpayer
vote
money,
against it?
loss
They
of
own
dues
all the
for us.
properties.
It's the old story.
That's all I got for
So
this
we gotta
evening.
know how to work it, the
So-
old story.
That's all I got for this evening. More work.
Can I ask you a question?
And information up there for those of you that don't have it, but go ahead, open floor if you have anything else.
What percentage of the residents pay those dues? And they're very low dues.
That was Jim's question.
25%, 30 maybe.
No, 20%.
20%. But all organizations work that way.
But we're under
They're
20.
volunteer. 10% do all the work, the other 90% sit around.
So there's no way.
Doing
you
the
could
work
just-
right now, we have a 0.03% doing the work, I will just
Yeah.
correct. Really, there are about three bodies that are doing the work. So then occasionally here and there are other things, there's support, but we don't have nearly enough of dues to tackle, and that's what this association is for, is to tackle these
Yeah.
broad
Upfront.
type of issues that affect the community overall, changes the dynamics. We didn't buy in this community to have highways going through, I'll exaggerate, or, or an airport with, commercial flights coming through, or whatever, so those are the things that we want to be able to have the muscle to do, but sometimes we need the people to show up and assess.
When you say
financially.
the help, you're talking about you and a couple of people in here that are doing the work.
Yes,
That's what you meant, right?
there's only us here, yeah.
Well, there are other people that aren't here tonight.
Yeah.
There are
fairness.
some, yes.
Meetings with more.
But everybody,
Not everybody that's out, but
and everybody that has gotten involved, at least, there are people that would never step up to be a board member. So grateful for that, and that's a struggle. So like we have a couple that aren't here, they wanted to get involved and they wanted to bring the community essence of things back and organize an event where they
They did
even cooked and
organize
music
one.
and it was a blast. So, everybody has their thing, I guess, and that's great, we need that. But we need just a little bit more to be able to tackle these big matters, like subcommittees and stuff like that. Certainly, the dues at this point, we've been hounding down to save every dollar, thinking this would be coming down the pipes. And if we need to get a professional involved to represent us, somebody who it's going to cost. It's going to cost. So, otherwise, we would have been doing a ton of events and having fun and stuff like that. But
So is it just basically the methods that you mentioned about paying your dues like that electronically?
that's
or
the
how-
only way
So
we
why
get.
don't you, like where we lived in the Keys, they would have an event in the park.
Mhm.
And that day is when people would go and pay dues
And it was volunteer.
yeah.
Mhm.
Voluntary.
So, I mean, to get something an incentive to get people out and
Yep.
do it then instead of where they can be behind an invisible shield and not know whether you pay or you don't.
It's just about also getting the people to be able to put that together,
Yeah.
unfortunately. And I think it was last year, we had our current now board members that put that together. And we invested in it. Remember, $500-600, provided the food and all that.
And was it successful?
yes.
Not to my liking. It
Oh,
was
it
nice.
wasn't big enough.
It was
Better
nice.
than
It was,
the previous
it
year.
was, they did a phenomenal job organizing. There were people that showed up, but 500 homes? 200 homes? No, the turnout from our community was not enough to go down the road of what you're suggesting. That's our problem. It's work to get it there, to be organized, and then the community isn't showing up. So it's probably word of mouth, advertising, all those things that have to come into play, people being motivated to want to be part of a community event. These days is way more of a struggle, and that I know is not just us, it's just sort of the mentality. There are lots of people that come in and they say, why don't you do this, why don't you do that? But the time and the effort that it takes for just a few bodies is tremendous.
Well, is there something else that happens every year that people attend that you could incorporate both of those things so it wouldn't be an extra?
We have quarterly meetings, and that's been
No, I
the
mean like
standard.
events, like at Christmas.
Right,
or-
other things now. We've had a Christmas lights competition. So like the top 3 decorated would get 150, something like that. We've done that, and you needed to come to the meeting in order to get the results of that. We've done that for the last couple of years, but
Your dues have to be paid.
yeah, it's still a struggle. And some people will be like, I'm decorating my house anyways, I'm not part of the competition. I don't know.
Yeah.
Some people honestly, I don't think people are well informed. We're not an HOA, really is what they say, and so they're not aware of all these things necessarily to get motivated. Some people are doing their little things on their own, and we would love to see that little legwork. That would be so helpful for us and form these subcommittees, or at least have contacts of people who are, I'm willing to take the time to make phone calls or emails or edit an email and send it to you to anything.
Our biggest
Be our
problem,
journalist of the community.
Mayor,
Tell us what's
right
up.
now,
Something like
our
that.
biggest problem is we do not have a secretary
Yeah.
that would organize just simple things like this email.
Yeah.
So like even the people on that high ridge, I mean, just as a brand new person that bought in there, hearing that Costco's buying up that real estate, I mean, that's horrific.
Mm-hmm.
It's like if even those people would be notified, if that really is true, if that is happening.
Oh, that is true. You can see on Property Appraiser, it says Costco owned.
Yeah.
That is true.
So, I mean, like, just to get that notice out to those people on that street, or that are affected, close to that,
Mm-hmm.
that seems like it would light a fire under someone if they lived on that street.
Yeah. Right, goes back to the cost, postage for those particular people, or taking the time, going door to door, hey, do you know? I think many do know, because they've been seeing the fencing that they put, the temporary fencing, that's the big sign. There were construction workers on one of the properties at one point when they took things down. I wanna say that they're mostly aware. Do they think they can or cannot do anything about it? There's that mentality that goes with it. Just show up at this meeting, let's get together and do something about it. But, and that has happened when the bridge was a big topic. So I'm hoping that people have that same sense of urgency as we start to blast this via mails and things like that. And in next meeting, we'll have a bit bigger of a crowd. I mean, it's
If
not
we
just
send
us,
out-
it's the next community over. Where are these sidewalks that they're trying to put in through this bridge? It's just the initial, this is the information that we're getting from this bridge. If you have sidewalks, they can't go to nowhere. That means they continue throughout the community, to our neighbors, to residents of Lake Osborne, north of us. They don't have sidewalks either. Murray Hills, all that, there will be sidewalks.
Didn't they start that project up by Lake Worth Road?
6th Avenue,
And the sidewalks,
Underneath the
because they
bridge?
did some sidewalk work there, is it all gonna be the same?
Yeah.
that's
The
Would
plan initially,
seemingly be the plan.
towards the beginning and the end of the plan is to have the sidewalk start at Lantana Road and stop at Lake Worth Road.
Okay, so they
Well,
got,
why don't they have sidewalks here for people that have to go to the schools south of High Palazzo, which is crazy?
Well,
Yeah.
The sidewalk ends right outside this driveway here.
a lot of
People
things
here
they
rallied
don't
up and say, no, no, no. It did happen
yeah,
about 20 years
these people
ago.
probably have more money.
Yeah.
And maybe it'll be brought back up, because supposedly it's a county plan for the bicycle lanes and the sidewalks because there are accidents that have been happening, but, we have the park path, and we like to see that enhanced and made, to the times. Bicycle lane there, the e-bike things, all of that, or pedestrian specifically widened, nice for the paws of our animals. We want to see that, not a sidewalk right in our noses of the residences, which means if they're in front of the Lake Osborne residences, they're going into Crest, into Ontario, into traveling around the neighborhood. And it's public ground, so they can sit there and do whatever. So,
Unless somebody puts up a defense.
and we will.
And then they're gonna put lights, most likely, on the sidewalks.
Possible. Anything is possible.
Anything is possible, and many would argue that it's very dark at night there. You can't really see much.
Yeah.
But, romantical lights of a park, maybe? Clearly, we already have the airport on our side brightening us up with their LED lights into our windows, red and whatever.
Motion to close.
Thank you.
Second.
First,
Okay.
second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye, thank you.
Everybody sign in?
Have a good night, everybody.
My name's Larry Silver.
Thank you, Simon.
And I know you guys look good.
Well, yeah, I'll look at it.
What?
Realtor.
Are you still?
All
Would you
right,
do
well,
any
I
meetings
update when I get these.
Where would you buying and selling this? Whatever.
35 years in the Keys, and then since
Where
Decide
did
what amount.
the upper house, actually graduated.
Yeah.
couple months, but that's not on the statistics. Or when the cop came out and
There was an accident in front of me, 4 cars. Not that lasted all night. We don't even know, we just heard all the banging. They went outside, our house, one girl had to pull in our driveway. Somebody was on the wrong side of the street.
And I made more than, hey.
That's all we
There's two
know.
of us.
And then they put a big stripe across.
I put it in here. But the whole reason of having it
Yeah.
is look at it, remember your birth. She's
And you got the general.
Yeah, there you go. Well, it's nice you're in the community. And, so now you can still be, I mean, if you're like me,
Oh,
I don't work.
that's what she wants in